people were grieving. We continue to fight to build a downtown. Yet, through all the insults and all the injuries, we were able to contact the council office, one of our own in the 14th Council District, Sarah Hernandez, and she was there for us.
But at this time, I'd like to call on the President of the City Council, Herb Wesson.
Good morning, and you can give me a bigger mercy applause. Just make my day. You know, I was told that I wouldn't have to say anything, that I could just come and be amongst the folks, but it is my pleasure to say a few words to you. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Bernard Parks and Councilmember Mike Bonin. And where are all the neighborhood councils? I see Doug from the district that I'm fortunate to represent. Wave your hands. Now everybody here, give them a mercy applause. You're great neighborhood councils. I want to thank each and every one of you for sacrificing your time. You could be at home right now, some of you beginning to watch today's sports. You could be doing something else, but yet you've decided to come here. You've decided to be a part of making Los Angeles a better place. I truly appreciate everything that you do, the other members of the council and the mayor, so thank you. We are a better city because of you. Continue to work with us, be our eyes, our ears, and help us out. God bless us all. Thank you so very much. Happy Saturday.
Good to be here. Look at this capacity crowd. I am blown away. Every single year it gets more and more inspiring. I hope that you feel, as I do, that this is a real moment to rethink LA, to reimagine Los Angeles, and to also begin a second chapter of our Neighborhood Council book. The first chapter has been a good one, a bold one. The greatest group of civic activists this city has are assembled here in this room, and those who came before you, and even some of you who've been a Neighborhood Council member since the beginning. Raise your hand. Got a few of them. Make sure you see who those folks are. Ask them how they survived for so long. But thank you all for welcoming me so warmly here today. I'm here at the start of my term, and it still feels like, even though I've served in this building for a little bit over 12 years, it still feels like I just arrived here yesterday. And I never want to lose that kind of rookie feeling with what now is hopefully a little bit of a veteran's perspective of both what is possible from the outside eyes in and what we can do to make that realized from the inside out. We've already done some pretty great things together. I mean, just think, in the 88 days I've been in office, when I started, the Dodgers were in last place, now we're headed for the playoffs in the first place. So, that's just the beginning. My condolences to any LA Angels fans who happen to be here. As mayor, you've heard me say it, I'm focused on a back to basics message and a back to basics mission. And I can't think of any better place where the basics begin than in our neighborhoods and with our neighborhood council members. We've got to do those basic things right, creating jobs again in our economy, putting the recession in the rearview mirror, and making City Hall more effective and more efficient in delivering those core services that our constituents depend upon. But I can only succeed, we can only succeed together. I'm spending my first 100 days in office putting together a team. I met the mayor of New York after I won, but before I was sworn in, I spent a day with him. And he said, everybody's gonna ask you what you accomplished at the end of your first 100 days. All you need to do is put a good team together, period. Nobody's gonna remember a single thing you did, but they will remember who you picked and how able they are to implement your agenda. And so I put together a highly qualified team of individuals, an innovative team to bring reform to City Hall, and revitalization to our neighborhoods. And no one knows more about our communities than you, which is why I need you. Like the members of the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, who organized a Pathways to Employment, an event that provided job skills training, that practiced job interviews with potential applicants and other ways to combat the high rate of youth unemployment. And I'd like the members of that neighborhood council to please stand so we can thank you. To me, that's 7 you can get separated from the streets when you're in City Hall, which is why I've continued what I did as a council member, to hold open office hours. I did that. The first thing that I did on day one after sitting down with some of our local chambers of commerce was to hold office hours where anybody can come and meet with me and my staff. We held them, as I mentioned, the first day. We've done 2 more in Van Nuys, and if some of you might have seen, in a parking spot in Boyle Heights. I opened the mayor's help desk right down the hall, so that now when you see those folks who come into City Hall and do the 360 looking for where they're supposed to go, instead they can direct themselves to a help desk that gets them to where they need to go to solve their problems. And I've continued walking door to door. We went to Venice for the first walk. We're hoping that we might get a couple dozen people. Over 200 individuals showed up, and we blanketed the neighborhood. I met a aspiring rock star full of tattoos next door to a Lithuanian immigrant, next to an African-American woman who heads up the food pantry at the Baptist church, next to a Guatemalan immigrant family, all in just 3 apartments. I want to make sure that every neighborhood council is aware of my Neighborhood Blitz initiative as well. Instead of just responding to your calls, the Bureau of Street Services is proactively going to every neighborhood council area in the city to spend the day on the most pressing problems, and in advance, we're reaching out to the local neighborhood council to develop our fix-it list. Some of you might have heard me say during the campaign, and I hope to implement it in our next fiscal year, a policy too, where the Department of Public Works won't just check in with us, elected officials, the council members and mayor, about what streets are going to be paved and sidewalks that are going to be fixed, but they sit down with our neighborhood councils ahead of that year as well. And I want to thank too the budget advocates, not only for their critical analysis and budget recommendations, but for holding an important hearing on the proposed DWP contract that was ratified this week. I'm greatly appreciative that you invited me to speak to you about the tougher reforms I wanted to see in the contract, and that I was able to come that evening. I think it's a great chapter forward. We were able to hold the line. We had a union that stepped up. We had it ratified 3-1, and that is the beginning of reform at the Department of Water and Power. And reflective of my respect for the neighborhood councils, I heard loud and clear folks saying we need neighborhood councils to serve on commissions. DWP was one of the areas we interacted with a lot, so we didn't just appoint 1, but 2 members of the neighborhood council to our new DWP commission. Bill Funderburk of the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council, who ironically replaced our ratepayer advocate when he was hired as that, Fred Pickle. He took that position. And Jill Barad, who helped found the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council and the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils. And if they're here, I'd like to thank them for their service as well. The city charter of the City of Los Angeles was amended by the voters to establish the following. Quote, to promote more citizen participation in government and make government more responsive to local needs, a citywide system of neighborhood councils and a Department of Neighborhood Empowerment is created. Neighborhood councils shall include representatives of the many diverse interests in communities and shall have an advisory role on issues of concern to the neighborhood. As mayor, I want to adhere not just to the letter, but to the spirit of this section of our charter. I'm committed to reaching out, engaging, and listening, and working with you as partners in building stronger neighborhoods, a stronger economy, and a more efficient and effective city government. But today, I want to challenge you too. Let's work together to expand the connections between our neighborhood councils and the residents they represent. It starts with council elections, the next of which is coming up in the next year. The more representative our neighborhood councils are, the stronger voice they'll have, the more effective that they will be. Look, it's my problem too. If you looked at the voter turnout, the overwhelming mandate I had was, a percentage of a percentage of a percentage of people that live here. We need more people to vote. And I believe it should be a top priority for each council to significantly increase council election turnout. And I'll be there to swear in the newly elected board for the council that has the highest increase. So I don't know if that's much of an incentive, but if it is, I'm coming. I didn't know that until I read that, but it's great. I did read this ahead of time, I just didn't feel it. The charter also outlines, though, too, the community impact statement. quote, official statements and positions adopted by a neighborhood council on issues pending before the city's decision makers, and can be about any issue for which there is a council file, preferably active, and must be resubmitted after each council action. Neighborhood councils can express support, opposition, suggestions, or modifications to and about any matter pending before the city council, its committees, or city commissions. This is a critical authority and provides neighborhood councils with a powerful and official role, but they are an exception rather than a rule too often. As a former city council member, as the former president in these chambers, I know that community impact statements can play a vital role in shaping legislation. But I also have heard loud and clear, you need to have the notice ahead of time to be able to have the time to make community impact statements. So let us work together with our council, with our council president, Herb Wesson, with the members, so that when we see chairs of committees who have important things that are coming, we'll get the word out early. We'll work to give you an early warning on that, and so we can hear what our neighborhood councils think about some of our most important initiatives. And lastly, I want your ideas. And I'll highlight the best ones today by retweeting them across LA, using the hashtag for today. If you don't know what a hashtag is, it has nothing to do with medical marijuana. Talk to somebody next to you and talk to, but it is hashtag NCCongressLA, and there, share your solutions for LA's most pressing challenges. And throughout the day, we'll be sharing those with a wider Twittersphere audience. And if you can tweet from your phone, why don't we start right now? So if anybody is on Twitter, send a tweet right now asking your followers to use the hashtag NCCongressLA to share their ideas. They don't have to be here today in order for us to hear them. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't be prouder and more honored to be your mayor, and more importantly, to be your partner. Over the next 4 years, I know that we will do incredible things. And like the foundation of this building, that at the time was in some ways a physical manifestation of the aspirations that the founding fathers and mothers of the city had, we too are the next generation of that. Be bold, be brave, be unafraid, and let us together build a city that isn't just big again, but great. Up in the highest room in City Hall, one of my favorite quotes is there from Aristotle. It says that the city came into being to preserve life, but it exists for the good life. In other words, we came to the city to be safe, but that wasn't the end unto itself. It was to define for each one of us, what is the good life? Whether it's shopping in Reseda, or helping somebody get a job in San Pedro, whether it's cleaning up Northridge, whether it's in West Los Angeles going door to door and seeing the look on someone's face when the mayor's in front of their door or neighborhood council head is at their door. We can change this city. That power is in our grasp. Let's take it. Thank you so much. If people have not downloaded this on your smartphone, and if you don't have a smartphone, ask somebody next to you what that is. Sorry? It's a Samsung Galaxy S3. Once you download this, which you can get at the Play Store, Google Play Store, and also, I believe, on iPhone as well. iTunes too. You can tell I'm an Android guy. You go here and open up the app. When you see something, just hit Submit Service Request. Now, my favorite way to do this, and make sure the GPS on your phone is turned on, is just to take a photo. See right there, it said tap to take, or attach a photo if you've already taken one. You can do this at home. Take a photo, and let's say the problem is, hypothetically, that we don't have these, a pothole down here. So there's a picture of a pothole. Save it. And because of the, it says select address intersection, sorry, just,
One more time.
One more time, they say. There we go. So you hit that button on the side, which is basically where I am standing. That orange button means where I am right now. And let's make it Spring Street. And then you can add whatever you want down here. Big pothole. Okay? And then you just go to next. Select service type. Right.
Drop down at the top.
Up here, we have to identify what it is, so if it wasn't clear enough, there's pothole repair, and hit next. And then if you want to put in, this is all optional, you can always give us anonymous stuff and we will work on it just as quickly, but you can put your email in here, your first name, your last name, a telephone number, or you can skip and submit. And this now, unfortunately, we're going to have a bunch of guys showing up here with asphalt in about 24 hours. So my apologies to Council President Wesson for making a mess ahead of time. And it's done. So that's finished, and there's great pictures, as you can see, from throughout Los Angeles. You can also pay your DWP bill on here, and you can also find city information on here. And I have, so in other words, it brings up a map and shows you all sorts of categories of information that we put in here. Dog parks, for instance, where's the nearest dog park? Well, I know there's one up here in Silver Lake. There it is. Right there, there's a dog park at the south part of Silver Lake. So there's great information there, and then we also have news.